Let's get more on this, though, with Victor Teo, who joins me live now from Singapore. He's an Indo-Pacific affairs analyst. Things, Victor, are not looking good for President Yoon. Does he just need to wake up and smell the coffee?
Well, I think he's doing exactly that every single day. He's having a hard time trying to defend his presidency or what's left of it. But going forward, I don't see how he can maneuver himself out of a deadlock. I think there is a glimmer of hope in the sense that he might be able to drag this out long enough for Donald Trump to come into office, and perhaps for the Americans to throw their weight behind his presidency or to revive what's left of it. And I suspect this is the reason why Antony Blinken is in town today. Obviously, the U.S. is, the narrative coming from the American camp is that they are concerned about the domestic challenges that the South Korean people face, but they also at the same time stress the importance of the rule of law and allowing the legal process to play out. This actually signifies that the Americans would like to see Yoon be given his extended all his legal rights to be able to cope with the legal challenges that he's facing. And I think in that respect, this is how Yoon is seeing, the President Yoon is actually seeing his way forward.
I mean, Blinken also described South Korea as the linchpin of regional security. Is there a risk that other actors in the region, I'm thinking North Korea, China, will see this turmoil in Seoul as an opportunity and perhaps think about launching into something?
Well, there's also the opportunity for the President Yoon to divert attention to external challenges. There is nothing better. I mean, he has tried that when he tried to implement the martial law. He did allude to the North Korean threat. And now with the launching of the missiles, the North Koreans is actually saying, well, here we go. If you want a threat, here's one. So I think Blinken is in town to try and rest assure the South Korean people that the United States are behind them. But I think one key important thing that we all have to pay attention to is the importance that the conservatives in the region, whether it's in Japan or in South Korea, has for U.S. foreign policy in the region. They are the reason why the Americans are being asked to stay. And these conservative regimes give the Americans the reason. It's always the China threat, the North Korean threat. It's always some external threat that legitimizes the U.S. presence in the region. And to that extent, I think when Donald Trump comes into office, South Korea is going to play an even more important role in his China policy. And for that reason, I think President Yoon might be exactly the kind of president that the American needs in South Korea.
And finally, we're watching them now, these pictures of hundreds, if not thousands, of protesters outside Yoon's residence, really holding steadfast despite pretty cold, freezing temperatures. Why do people in South Korea feel so strongly about this that they're prepared to spend hours and hours of their days in the freezing cold on the streets?
I think this is what is most admirable about South Koreans. They have a very vibrant grassroots democratic movement that extends over decades. So South Koreans are, in all of Asia, South Koreans are pretty much the first of the people that advocate the idea of grassroots democracies and bring it to real life. They protest against the authoritarian regimes by the military dictators back in the 70s and 80s. And they are the one that actually push the democratic movement forward. This is unlike the rest of the Asian countries. Many of them are still very backwards in terms of democratic development. And to that extent, the South Koreans take the democratic spirit very seriously. So Yoon in Yoon's camp, Yoon has his own supporters in the older generation of South Koreans who believes in that the South Korea must be strong and must take a tough stance against the North Korean threat. So we have these two camps at a standoff. And I think, again, it's a battle of the political will of the both camps going forward. It's really both about domestic politics and also about foreign relations at the heart of this crisis.
All right, Victor Teo, an Indo-Pacific affairs analyst from Singapore. Thank you so much for joining us on the NewsHour. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.